It was the kind of offer that could make any man forget his past and buy his future forever. The kind of offer that makes people whisper, "If it was me, I would said yes before they finished the sentence." But Muhammad Ali didn't. And that's why this story still shakes people today. Because what happened in December 1978 inside a Saudi palace wasn't just a meeting between a boxer and a king. It was a test of identity, faith, loyalty, and truth. Muhammad Ali, at 36 years old, walked into the opulent palace of King Al in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, as a guest of honor. But what the king offered him that day was so shocking, so huge, so unreal, that even Ali, who had faced the strongest men in the world, felt his chest tighten. Because this wasn't a boxing deal. This wasn't even a business deal. This was a deal that could rewritten Ali's entire life and the story of Islam in the West. And the price wasn't written in ink. It was written in Ali's soul. Now listen closely, because most people don't understand one important thing. Muhammad Ali wasn't as financially secure as everyone assumed. People look at legends like Ali and think, that man must be rich forever. But the truth is, boxing money in the 1970s was nothing like today. Yes, Ali made big purses. Yes, his fights were historic. But the numbers didn't reach the insane level modern athletes enjoy today. And Ali gave money away like it was water. He was famous for his generosity. If someone asked for help, he gave. If a stranger told him a sad story, he gave. If a child looked hungry, he gave. Ali supported charities. He supported friends. He supported family. He supported causes. He even supported people who didn't deserve it, because Ali's heart was bigger than his bank account. And he traveled with a large entourage too. Assistants, friends, advisors, loved ones, people who depended on him every day. So while the world saw a champion, Ali quietly carried pressure. He was nearing the end of his career. And the end of boxing is a terrifying place. Because when you're winning, everyone cheers for you. But the moment your speed slows down, the moment your hands don't move like they used to, the world forgets you. Ali knew that. And that's why this trip to Saudi Arabia felt important. At first, it seemed like a respectful diplomatic visit. A ceremonial honor. A king inviting the most famous Muslim athlete in the world to his palace. Ali came with his wife Veronica and a small group, expecting nothing more than a warm greeting and polite conversation. But King didn't invite Ali just for his boxing greatness. He invited Ali for something deeper. Something far more valuable. Ali's faith. You see, Ali wasn't just Muhammad Ali the boxer. He was Muhammad Ali the symbol. To America, he was the loud man who became the greatest. To black communities, he was the proud one who refused to bow. To the world, he was the fighter who faced the system and survived. But to millions of Muslims, Ali was something else entirely. He was proof that Islam could be strong, visible, respected, even in the West. And King admired that. He admired Ali's courage, especially Ali's decision to stand firm in his beliefs, even when it cost him years of his career during the Vietnam War. That's why the king's words felt heavy the moment he spoke. Ali was led through hallways that seemed endless, guided by royal attendants dressed like they belonged to a different world. Everything around him screamed wealth. Gold, shining floors, the smell of perfume and power in the air. The palace wasn't just beautiful. It was overwhelming. Ali entered a meeting room filled with advisors, translators, and royal attendants. And the silence wasn't awkward. It was the kind of silence that says, "We're waiting for something." Then King entered. He wasn't loud. He wasn't dramatic. But he carried the calm authority of a man who had never been told no in his entire life. Ali stood respectfully. The king greeted him warmly, then spoke through a translator. "Mr. Ali," the king said, "you have brought honor to Islam through your courage and your faith. The Muslim world looks up to you." Ali nodded politely. He was humbled, but he didn't fully understand what was coming next. Because the king leaned forward slightly, and the room became even quieter. "I have a proposition for you," the king said. Ali's entourage stiffened. Veronica watched closely. Ali stayed calm, but inside, his instincts woke up. Because Muhammad Ali had fought inside boxing rings against giants. But he knew something many men learned too late. The most dangerous fights are the ones outside the ring. The king gestured toward an advisor. The man stepped forward holding a briefcase. But this wasn't a normal briefcase. It was ornate, expensive, almost like artwork. The advisor placed it gently on the table and opened it. Inside were documents, perfectly arranged. Papers that could change Ali's life. Ali stared at them, and then the king said it. A number so insane, it sounded like a joke. "I want to offer you $100 million. Ali didn't move, but his eyes widened slightly. Because even for him, even for Muhammad Ali, that number was unreal. $100 million in 1978 wasn't just wealth. It was generational power. It was security for centuries. It was money that could erase every fear. And the king didn't stop there. He offered Ali a palace in Riyadh, a private jet for travel, an annual salary of $10 million for the rest of his life. The room felt like it stopped breathing. Everyone assumed Ali would accept. How could he not? But Ali didn't smile. He didn't celebrate. He didn't jump at the offer. Instead, he looked at the king carefully. Because he knew one thing. Nothing comes free from a man that powerful. And then the king revealed what he truly wanted. "I want you to become the official representative of Saudi Arabia and Islam to the world," King said. Ali blinked. The offer wasn't about charity. It wasn't about love. It was about control. The king wanted Ali's voice, Ali's fame, Ali's influence. He wanted Ali to travel the world speaking about Islam, defending the kingdom, shaping public opinion. And on the surface, it sounded noble. But Ali understood the hidden truth. When someone pays you to speak, they control your message. And then came the final condition, the one that turned this deal from a dream into a trap. The king added it casually, like it was nothing. "Of course," the king said, "you will need to renounce your American citizenship and become a Saudi citizen." And just like that, the air changed. The money was still there. The palace was still shining. The king still smiled. But Ali felt it. This wasn't just a deal. This was a betrayal disguised as generosity. Because it wasn't asking Ali to represent Islam. It was asking Ali to abandon who he was. To leave America behind. To trade his identity for wealth. And in that moment, Ali didn't think about money. He didn't think about jets. He didn't think about palaces. He thought about one question that hit him like a punch. Who am I if I take this deal? And that question would haunt him that night. Because Ali understood something most people don't. The world doesn't just test you with hardship. Sometimes it tests you with luxury. And luxury can be the most dangerous test of all. That night, Muhammad Ali didn't sleep. Not because the bed wasn't comfortable. Not because the palace guest quarters weren't luxurious. They were. The room was so grand it didn't even feel real. Soft carpets, golden lamps, curtains that looked like they were made for kings, not guests. But Ali didn't care about any of it. Because for the first time in a long time, he felt trapped. Not by ropes in a boxing ring, but by an offer so big, so powerful, so tempting. It felt dangerous. Ali stood near the window, looking out at the dark desert landscape. The silence outside was wide and endless. But inside his mind, it was loud. $100 million. His family would never struggle again. His children, even his great. No more fear. No more money problems. No more stress about the future. No more depending on fight purses. No more waking up with pain and wondering, how long can my body keep doing this? Ali knew he was nearing the end. He knew his speed wasn't the same. He knew his reflexes were slowing. He could feel it in training. He could feel it in his bones. But the world still expected him to be Muhammad Ali forever. The greatest, the unstoppable champion. Yet the truth was, time was undefeated, and Ali was starting to lose to it. He looked behind him. His wife, Veronica, was sitting quietly on the edge of the bed, watching him. She didn't speak right away, because she knew this wasn't just a decision. This was a battle, and Ali was fighting it alone. Then his financial advisor walked into the room. The man looked anxious, almost excited, like he couldn't believe what had just happened. "Mohammed," he said, stepping closer, "do you understand what this means?" Ali didn't answer. The advisor continued anyway, like a salesman who couldn't stop talking. "This is more money than you could make in 100 lifetimes of boxing," he said. "You're talking about generational wealth beyond imagination. You could stop fighting. You could stop stressing. You could live like royalty forever." Ali still didn't respond. The advisor took out a notebook and began listing things, one by one, like he was counting blessings. "Your children will be set. You will be set. You're great, Mohammed, even their children will be set." He paused, then leaned closer like he was whispering a secret. "You'll never have to worry about another bill again." Ali's jaw tightened, because he had worried, even if people didn't know it, even if he never showed it. There were moments when he wondered how long the money would last. Moments when he looked at his bank account and realized he was giving away more than he kept. Moments when he felt the weight of being responsible for so many people. Moments when he thought about his future health and felt fear. And now, here was a deal that could erase all of it. The advisor pointed toward the papers again. "All you have to do is sign," he said. "This is the best decision you'll ever make." Ali finally turned and looked at him. And in that stare, there was something cold. Something sharp. Like a warning. Because Ali wasn't just hearing the offer. He was hearing the cost. Veronica spoke softly then. "Mohammed," she said, "what does your heart tell you?" Ali didn't answer quickly. Because he didn't want to lie. He sat down slowly, rubbing his forehead. The room was heavy. And suddenly, Ali felt like the world had gotten quiet, just to watch him choose. He thought about his home. Louisville, Kentucky. The streets that raised him. The people who loved him. The people who hated him. The country that applauded him and punished him. America was complicated. America had hurt him. America had taken years of his prime from him when they stripped him of his title. America had called him a traitor. America had tried to break him. But America was still his home. And Ali knew something deep inside. If he left, if he gave up his citizenship, they'd say, "See, he was never loyal." They'd say we were right about him. And that thought made his stomach turn. Because Ali didn't want to be remembered as a man who ran. He wanted to be remembered as a man who stood firm. Still, the money tempted him. Because it wasn't just money. It was comfort. It was safety. It was freedom from stress. The advisor kept talking. "Think about it," he said. 6 months in Saudi Arabia, 6 months traveling the world. You'll be treated like a king. You'll have a palace, a private jet, a lifetime salary. This is a dream. Ali listened, and then he finally spoke. But his voice was quiet, almost painful. "My heart tells me some things are worth more than money," Ali said. The advisor frowned. Veronica leaned forward, listening closely. Ali continued slowly. "My heart tells me that if I accept this money, people will question my faith." The advisor scoffed. "Who cares?" he said. "You'll be rich." Ali shook his head. "No," he said, "it matters." He stood up again and paced slowly. I became a Muslim because I believed it was the right path, he said, not because I wanted to get paid. Veronica's eyes softened. Ali looked out the window again. If I take this deal, I become their employee, he said. And when I talk about Islam, people will say I'm doing it for money. The advisor tried again. But Mohammed, you can still believe, he insisted. You can still have faith and take the money. Ali turned sharply. And what about America? Ali said. What about where I come from? The advisor hesitated. Ali's voice grew stronger. I want to show the world you can be a proud American and a Muslim, he said. I want them to see Islam ain't foreign to America. Islam is part of America. The room fell silent. Because that wasn't just a statement. That was a purpose. Ali wasn't thinking like a businessman. He wasn't thinking like a man chasing comfort. He was thinking like a symbol. A bridge. A voice for people who didn't have one. Veronica stood up and walked toward him. Mohammed, she said, do you feel like this offer is trying to buy you? Ali didn't answer right away. But his expression said everything. Because deep down, Ali knew. This wasn't generosity. It was ownership. The king wasn't offering a gift. He was offering a cage made of gold. And the next day, Ali would have to decide if he was willing to step inside that cage. Or if he was willing to walk away. And stay free. The next morning, Muhammad Ali woke up with the kind of heaviness that doesn't come from tired muscles. It comes from a decision that can change your entire life. He looked at Veronica, still half asleep, and for a moment he wondered. Would she be happier if he said yes? Would his children be safer? Would the stress disappear? Would the world stop expecting him to fight forever? Because one signature, just one, could erase every financial worry Ali had ever carried. But then Ali remembered something else. He remembered what his father taught him. He remembered what he learned in the streets of Louisville. He remembered what he learned the hard way in America. Money can buy comfort, but it can't buy respect. And it can't buy your soul back once you sell it. That morning, royal attendants arrived early. They dressed Ali in fine clothes. They treated him with perfect manners. But Ali could feel it. This wasn't hospitality anymore. This was pressure, because everybody expected the same outcome. Ali will say yes. A champion nearing retirement. A man who gave away too much. A man who wanted security. They assumed he would accept the gold cage. Ali walked through the palace halls again, past shining floors and walls covered in luxury. But today, everything felt colder. Because now Ali understood what the palace really was. Not a symbol of beauty. A symbol of power. A reminder that King lived in a world where money solved everything. Where money controlled everything. And in that world, a no didn't exist. Ali was escorted into the same ornate room. The advisors were already seated. The translator stood ready. The briefcase sat on the table again, like it was waiting to swallow him. Then King entered. He smiled warmly, confident. The kind of smile a man gives when he believes the outcome is already decided. He sat down, leaned forward, and asked through the translator, Mr. Ali, have you reached your decision? Ali stood still. The room held its breath. But before Ali could speak, the king lifted a hand. He wasn't finished. I have thought more about your future, the king said. And with that, he nodded to his advisors. One of them stepped forward again, this time holding another document. The king's voice remained calm, almost casual. I will add another $20 million, he said. A ripple moved through the room. Ali's entourage stiffened. The advisor who came with Ali looked like he was about to faint. The king continued, and I will also build you a mosque anywhere in the world you desire. Ali stared at him. The offer had grown even bigger, even more impossible. And now the king's expression said clearly, now you cannot refuse. Because in the king's mind, The problem wasn't Ali's identity. The problem was the price. So he raised it. Like a man bidding at an auction. Like Ali was a possession. And that's when Ali's body went still. Because suddenly, Ali didn't feel tempted anymore. He felt insulted. Not because the king was evil. Not because the king was disrespectful on purpose. But because the king didn't understand one thing. Ali's faith wasn't for sale. And Ali's American identity wasn't a weakness. It was part of his purpose. The king smiled again, waiting. But Ali didn't smile back. Ali took one step forward. Then another. And he spoke clearly with calm power. "Your Majesty," Ali said. His voice was steady. Not aggressive. Not shaky. Just firm. "I am deeply honored by your generosity." The king's smile widened. Ali continued. "The money you're offering is beyond anything I could have imagined." The king leaned in, satisfied. Ali paused, and in that pause, you could hear the silence swallow the room. Then Ali said the sentence no one expected. "But I must respectfully decline." For a second, nobody moved. The translator froze. The advisors blinked like they didn't understand what their ears had heard. The king's smile slowly disappeared. The translator looked nervous. He turned to Ali. "Mr. Ali," he said, almost whispering, "please repeat." Ali didn't hesitate. "I must respectfully decline," he repeated. The room turned cold. Not with anger, with disbelief. Because in the king's world, turning down that kind of wealth was impossible. It didn't happen. Not with kings. Not with that amount of money. Not with those gifts. But Ali wasn't finished. He straightened his shoulders. And he spoke not like a boxer, but like a man defending his soul. "Your Majesty," Ali said, "I became a Muslim because I believed it was the right path spiritually." He looked around the room. He saw the advisors watching like statues. He saw the king sitting stiffly now. Ali continued, "If I accept your money and your citizenship, people will question whether my faith is real." The translator's voice trembled as he repeated Ali's words. Ali kept going. "If I take your money, I become your employee." The king's eyes narrowed slightly. Ali's voice stayed calm but stronger. "But if I speak about Islam from my own heart, then my words have power." He stepped forward again. "I want to represent Islam to the world," Ali said. "But I want to do it as Muhammad Ali from Louisville, Kentucky." That line landed like a punch. Because it wasn't just refusal. It was a statement. Ali continued, "I want people to see you can be a proud American and a devout Muslim at the same time." He glanced at the king. "I want them to know Islam isn't foreign to America." His voice rose slightly. "It's part of America." The room was silent. Not because people disagreed, but because they had never heard a man speak like that in front of a king. Ali paused, then delivered the line that shook the entire palace. "Your Majesty, you don't need to pay me to represent Islam." The king's face tightened. Ali didn't stop. "Islam has already given me everything I need." He spoke slowly, like every word mattered. "Peace in my heart, strength in my character, and purpose in my life." He gestured toward the palace, toward the gold, toward the luxury. "This palace is beautiful," Ali said. "But my home is America, with all its problems and all its possibilities." Ali's voice became even deeper. "I can't fight for justice in America if I'm not an American. I can't speak to Americans about Islam if I abandon my American identity for money." The translator repeated the words carefully. The advisors looked stunned. And for the first time, King looked like a man who didn't know what to do. Ali finished with his most powerful statement. "If I have to choose between $100 million, he paused, letting the words hang, "and my authenticity as a Muslim American, Ali looked directly at the king. "I choose my authenticity every time." And in that moment, Muhammad Ali didn't just refuse money. He exposed something bigger. He exposed the difference between faith and business, between purpose and profit, between freedom and ownership. The room stayed silent for several long seconds. Then King finally stood up. And everyone wondered, was the king angry? Was he insulted? Was Ali in danger? Because when you refuse a king, you never know what comes next.